arms. Arms are useful things which we use every day to do all kinds of useful tasks. Useful tasks like lifting things up, throwing stuff, steering a car. There's no doubt, arms are awesome, but what if arms could be something even greater? Well, luckily, that's exactly the type of forward-thinking attitude prevalent in, you guessed it, Cyberpunk 2077. In this world, people have the genius and free-thinking minds to ask questions like, what if my arms could be as strong as a gorilla's? Contain a retractable piece of live wiring, or retractable giant razor blades? Hell, what if my very arms themselves could house tiny missiles of fire and death? And being the free-thinking, morally sound place that Night City is, it became possible to get these procedures all over town, for the right price, of course. Come on, what could possibly go wrong when everyone's walking around with deadly augmented limbs? If you yourself are a prospective buyer of said cybernetic appendages, there's one burning question you need to be asking before deciding on your chosen enhancements. If one were to say, need to defend themselves from a band of ruffians, thugs, or heathens, which of these arm implants would be best? Well, today, I'm going to aim to answer that very question by conducting a simple experiment. Over in downtown city centre, there is an available gig known as an inconvenient killer. The details of the job are unimportant. Just know that it involves taking on a club of hostile bodybuilders from the Animals clan. These guys are absolutely stacked and serve as the perfect opponents to test out our predominantly melee-based armors. I'll play through this mission 4 times in order to test out each of the 4 pieces of armed cyberware, with the rule that no other weapons may be used. By the end, we'll have a pretty good idea of the strengths and weaknesses of each, and you'll be able to go on your merry way armed with the knowledge of which is the best arm enhancement for you before making any costly purchases at your local Ripperdoc. I'll also let you know the purchase location of not only each of the cyberwares, but also the mods I choose for them as well. Also, apologies if my voice sounds a little bit different, my vocal cords don't feel well. Let's get into it. At number 1, we have Gorilla Arms. Powerful fist enhancements with the ability to knock out weaker enemies in a single punch. They can be purchased from the Hayward Ripperdoc, along with all legendary arm upgrades in fact, with the black market battery I'm using purchasable from Robert/Dr. Chrome, and the physical damage knuckles coming as standard issue. These are definitely the most straightforward on this list and occupy the top spot as they transform you into an absolute powerhouse without any real conceivable drawbacks. Equipped with these, you can literally punch your way out of any close quarters situation. I mean, look, these guys are built twice my size, and yet they're going down like nothing. I feel like I've bought the Galva Knuckles in round 1 of a Zombies game. Do people still get that reference? I mean, come on, Black Ops 2 isn't that old, right? Jesus fucking Christ. Honestly, the only real criticism I have of these things is that they get kind of monotonous after a while. Notice how I said monotonous, not boring, because believe it or not, combat is one of the best things about this game, and it's incredibly satisfying to feel powerful enough to punch my way through some of the most physically tough opponents without much or any resistance. I do lose a lot of health in these runs, but that's because it doesn't matter to me. I'm a powerhouse, and it makes more sense to dispatch opponents as quickly as possible rather than hiding behind cover constantly, which, by my self-imposed rule of arm mods only, would achieve absolutely nothing. As OP as the Gorilla Arms are though, there are some more interesting additions to this list, though be warned, they come with more drawbacks. As runner-up here, I've decided to place the Monowire. Added to this was the physical damage mod which came with it, and the epic black market battery, increasing damage by 50% and buyable from the Ripperdoc in Pacifica. Now, before making this video, I hadn't really used this thing much. I mean, it always looked cool, but I don't know, I guess it never really stood out to me as much, but holy crap, have I been missing out? I mean, this thing makes me feel like Indiana Jones, if Indiana Jones was set in the Blade Runner universe, which would be weird, I suppose, because Harrison Ford. Yeah, anyway, this thing, the more I used it, the more I began to realize there is quite a lot of complexity here, and to use it really well requires a bit more thought and concentration than the Gorilla Arms, which I literally press button to kill enemy, to be honest. I began to realize towards the end of the fight that the further away an enemy is when hit, the more damage they'll receive. This not only adds another dynamic of skill to this weapon, it makes perfect sense in terms of physics. Not only that, but if we use this blocking technique, you can literally just stand there whilst enemies hit you without losing any health. I mean, my stamina drains, sure, but not by much. Even this jacked up muscle lady can't seem to do anything. Now, I concede, at a lower level, stamina may not hold out indefinitely, but even still, in hand-to-hand combat, this is a pretty powerful tool and can negate a hell of a lot of damage if timed correctly. That guy does have a gun though, and I don't know if Yeah, let's just, Jesus, this is fucking easy. One issue I did run into with the Monowire was the radius at which it deals damage. There were quite a lot of innocents in here just trying to enjoy a good night out. I didn't mean to hit them with my little orange string of death, but that seems to be control I just don't have with this thing. This is where the basic concept of the Gorilla Arms wins out. Whilst the Monowire does strive to deliver melee in a different and, yes, more interesting way, it's definitely not as clean of an experience. Still, if you're looking to play, say, a more stealthy character, for instance, the Monowire would be the more obvious choice to suit that playstyle. In third place are the Mantis Blades. To these I added a Haming 8 rotor, which increases their attack speed by 45% and can be bought from the Japantown Ripperdoc. Now these things, well, they're fun. They're definitely enjoyable to use. Yeah, they slice people, then they make cool knifey noises. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the Mantis Blades. They've got an iconic look, and I used them a fair amount earlier on in the game. The problem is that, well, they aren't as powerful as the Gorilla Arms, and they don't offer any real unique combat uses like the Monowire. I don't know, it sort of feels like something's missing from them. Now, I know CD Projekt Red initially planned to make them these awesome wall-running / climbing devices, and I mean, fuck, that would have been awesome. That would have propelled them to number 1 simply for that unique ability, which could have given rise to some sort of parkour ninja build. The problem is, that feature never saw the light of day, and now we're stuck with these mediocre blades which have me going, yeah, it's cool and all, but just doesn't really do anything unique. They can slash really fast, but not really counting that as particularly innovative. These might be your favourite, and if they are good, I'm glad they bestow upon you a feeling of enjoyment for your playthrough, but for me, wow, they're just a bit boring. There is a reason they're not at the bottom of the list though. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, please meet the Projectile Launch System. This is sitting at the bottom because it's a piece of shit. But at the same time, it might just be the most overpowered thing in the game, and there's not really any leeway between the two. It's literally going to be either the weakest or the strongest because, well, why don't I just show you? Now, I've done this mission several times at this point, so this should be pretty run-of-the-mill. So it says here, if I press the middle mouse button, that didn't do much. I mean, honestly, this thing is a pile of shit. The projectiles do no damage and you're constantly waiting for the thing to recharge. Honestly, I'd be better off bringing out the shitty Lexington I used in the Sandevistan video to nerf myself, and I'm dead. Fuck. At this point, all hope was almost lost. If I couldn't get past the two guys outside, what hope could I possibly have taking on strings of gang members within? I headed back and punched the two outside with my unmodded fists, and it worked better, which completely defeats the purpose of this exercise and renders the projectile launch system utterly useless. Perhaps this time I'd simply have to declare it as a pathetic failure of an ARM mod, not even able to complete the mission and call it a day. I mean, it doesn't matter, there's 3 perfectly good other ARM mods here, one of which can knock people out in one punch and another which can deflect damage indefinitely. What could this one possibly achieve? Ridiculous, just another incomplete feature from this game that CD Projekt Red utterly fucked up on. I mean, it's pathetic. Oh, wait a minute. So it says if we buy the tranquilizer rounds, it'll one-shot enemies. Okay, let me just legitimately go and acquire those for research purposes, which can be done from the dock in downtown city centre, by the way. And now that we've gone out and bought those, let's load them up and run some tests. Well, that turns the tables a bit. These arms with tranq darts can one-shot anything and anyone. I mean, if you're wanting to go totally pacifist, then this is perfect for you. You're literally an unstoppable peacekeeping machine.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
That being said, I still died after this because despite the tremendous leap from shittest thing in the game to stupidly OP one-shotting device, this thing still offers absolutely no protection and still has that annoying recharge time. I returned a third time, proceeded with slightly less of a run into the heat of things like an unstoppable tank type attitude. After all, there's no need now, it literally launches projectiles from afar. Provided I had some cover to hide behind between shots, this became an incredibly easy run, and before long, my enemies were once again all dead. Well, unconscious, I suppose, but I completed the objective. So, now you know the secret. The projectile launch system is insanely OP, but only with tranq rounds. That being said, I'm still defending my positioning it at the bottom of this list, as I think it still belongs here. The reason for this is that even once I had the OP one-shot mod, I didn't really enjoy using this thing. Remember earlier when I said the Gorilla Arms were a little too click-to-kill enemies type of a vibe? Well, this thing is literally just that. I look at the enemy I want to fall down, press a button, and down they go. There's no satisfaction there, no feeling that I've earned it. With the others here, there's a need to traverse the environment with reasonable skill, hopping from enemy to enemy whilst taking care to watch your health. Hell, even aiming guns generally requires precision at least. But here, just point and click, boys. Point and click. So it's for that reason that no matter what, the projectile launch system sits firmly at the bottom of my list. But I genuinely want to hear your opinions on this, so comment down below your thoughts on the best armed cyberware in the game, and let me know what other things you'd like to see covered in this series. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please leave a like, as it will help it reach more people and help them. If you want to learn more about the world of Cyberpunk, or are interested in seeing more of the content produced on this channel, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm Sam Bram, and I'll see you in another video.